Okay, so on today's AI in Insurance episode, we welcome Dan Garzella. Welcome. So I'd
Hello.
list Dan as one of the trailblazers within the insurance industry, and here's why. So your career began when you moved to Arizona with just $500 and a vision for something bigger. You started as a scratch agent at Farmers Insurance, and you climbed to be one of their top agents nationwide. So congratulations.
Thank you.
And in 2014, you took a bold leap to establish the Garzella Group, a brokerage, and your vision then expanded further into Darkhorse insurance brokers, where you created opportunities for agents to build their own successful agencies through mentorship and a turnkey platform. With over 62 million in premiums, although I think it's a little bit higher than that now, so I'll ask you that in a moment, and a proven track record of leveraging technology to overcome industry challenges, you've been able to redefine what's possible within the insurance space, so quite applicable to this series. So I'm personally excited to delve into your story and your vision for the future of AI within the insurance industry. And with that, maybe why don't you start with your own intro and a little bit about what your businesses provide?
Yeah, sure. I mean, you did a phenomenal job of introducing me. I don't know if I could do much better. And by the way, we're at almost 78 million in premiums. So from whatever that last statistic was, we've grown quite a bit. But yeah, like you said, I moved to Arizona at the age of 23 with $500 in my pocket, and somehow, some way, grew to 20 years, 10 years in that world, and then started my own independent brokerage, the Garzella Group, in 2014, and have built that organically from zero to, again, almost 78 million in premium in just over 10 years, all organic. And so yeah, it's been quite the ride. I actually have 6 insurance related companies. Of course, Garzella Group, the parent company, Darkhorse, which is the one you spoke of. That's the company where we're giving agents that were in my position way back when, either when I was a captive agent or maybe you're an independent agent looking to working for someone else, looking to build your own brand, build your own company. And there's a lot of how-tos, and we've solved for all of that in our platform, which is very forward-thinking, very technology-based. Includes some of the AI that we're going to talk about today, and constantly looking to improve upon that. And then of course, we've got some other companies. We have our own proprietary rating technology and agency management system. We've got our own proprietary property insurance product for apartment buildings, a leads distribution company related to insurance, all in various stages of development. But again, it's been a fun ride, and really every company is built on solving an existing challenge. And so I solve for it, and then I look to monetize it and use it to help others.
So, well, I mean, one of my questions was going to be, how does technology support you in the way in which you serve your customers? But actually, it sounds like technology is actually quite fundamental to what you do. An off-topic question, but I mean, your background, is it in technology? How did you kind of take that approach?
Yeah, so that's actually a good question. So I went to school. I got my degree in effectively computer science and information technology, and I moved out to Arizona. Was looking for a job in that field, and they all wanted all kinds of certifications, 3 years of experience. And somehow, some way, I was recruited by Farmers Insurance at the time, and I thought to myself, why the hell would I want to do insurance? But I went into my father's like, why don't you just go and see what they have to say? I was like, all right. So I went in, and they're like, effectively it's your own business. No one's going to tell you what to do, which was a big bonus for me. And then the second part is, here's what you can accomplish financially. They kind of just educated me on residual income. That made a lot of sense to me, and so I just took it and ran with it. And the ironic part is, it really, when I was a captive farmers agent, of course, in the captive world, you're working within their model, within their technology, within everything, within their little bubble per se. So it doesn't give you a lot of flexibility to kind of be creative and do your own thing. You kind of have to do it within that framework. And so when I stepped out of it and created my own thing, all of a sudden I had all this flexibility, all this freedom, And so it really came full circle, and I started being able to use what I went to school for to actually develop my own technology to achieve the results that that I just spoke of.
And I think kind of with the explosion of, or the re-explosion of AI, from the perspective of actually people, because I think people have a renewed or a better understanding at least of what technology can deliver. But how's that changing the expectations of your own customers and your users?
Well, the way that I'm looking at technology, especially in the insurance space, is um, I look at it in two capacities. One capacity is, personal lines insurance and small business, and then the other capacity is big complex business. Now, where I see the value initially is in the personal lines and small business market, because you're typically dealing with a very thin profit margin. In the current insurance market, which has been the most challenging in 30 plus years, you're dealing with insurance companies reducing commissions, not writing business. You're dealing with a significant number of challenges. And then on the other end, you're dealing with inflation. The cost for people rise, the cost for good people is even higher. And, how do you solve for that? And so I think that the long-term solution for that is AI. And I think it's in the capacity that you're not necessarily replacing people. From my point of view, you're allowing one person to do significantly more work. And so if that one person can do the work of 10 people, well, then what happened is you just increase your profit margin. What are you able to do now? Well, now you're able to actually pay your people more. You're able to take that profit margin. You're able to take an industry or a industry segment, which is personal lines and small business, and actually make it real profitable. And so, so that's one capacity. And then you have the other capacity, which, is big business. And there's a reason why the big mega brokerages, and I'd like to consider myself one, but I'm not quite there yet, even at my 80 million in premium. But, there's a reason that predominantly they don't do a lot of personal lines, and they have minimum premium size or revenue thresholds. And that's because their infrastructure cost. They have to have a lot of high level people. Like even internally now, I have to have a lot of high level people to continue to be able to scale. And when you start having that many high level people, you can't write the small stuff, right? Yeah. So their focus is on the big stuff, and then you're solving bigger. You're solving bigger challenges that take a longer time to solve with the AI due to the complexity of the sale and complexity of the business. But long story short, it's an absolute must to adopt it in some form and start to educate yourself on it, because if you do not, you'll effectively be left behind.
And I suppose as part of your business strategy for, I suppose, the group of companies that you have, I mean, how is AI evaluated as part of your strategy? You kind of have this sometimes kind of term, horses for courses, and I think sometimes organizations can use AI for AI's sake, and I'm actually not a fan of that. Non-AI things can definitely add value as well, but when you're evaluating new products and services that your group of companies can do, how do you look to see how AI can help?
So I look at the tasks that so like, for example, one application that we're really focused on utilizing it for is prospecting as it relates to our existing X states. Customers that we've quoted in the past didn't get, but then we have to circle back for. So, it would be nice to say that our sales agents and producers are consistently circling back to those in year 2 and year 3 and pounding the phones and getting the opportunities. But the reality of it is they're really not. And the other reality is that even if they were dedicated to it, is the time that's spent doing all of that actually the best use of their time?
Yeah.
And what AI does is it's able to do that work, all of that prospecting for them. And so effectively it's able to take care of the grunt work, if you will, to get them the opportunity that wants to talk, and then allow them to take the conversation from there. On top of that, I think that as AI continues to evolve, I've seen it in a service capacity. I've seen it operate or try to operate in a sales capacity. I don't know that there's anything that's like developed to the point that's the gold standard at this point. I think a lot of it's still evolving and getting there. But ideally, the closer you can get it, at least initially, to allowing your sales associates to spend their time knowing the product coverages and consulting with the person instead of spending all their time doing data entry and talking to them, I think that the much more effective you'll be or will be as an organization.
And I suppose, how's AI owned within your business? You've obviously got a vision and an understanding of how AI can help. Is it kind of driven by a kind of a central team, a central function? Is it more kind of actually?
So right now I'm the AI guy.
Okay.
and I and it kind of suits me, right? Because my background has, I've got that technology background, and I work in conjunction with people that are much smarter than me at it, developers and whatnot. Companies like like Open Dialogue and whatnot. And so, effectively I own it, but I do see the need, I think long term, especially as it spreads across the various business units, to probably have a figure that specializes in it, whether you hire them, as a consultant or on a contract basis, or maybe they're a CTO type figure, or maybe someone that's just dedicated to that. I think that long term it probably takes that that person to continue to be on top of things, evolve and update it.
And maybe kind of based on your numerous applications of technology and AI, I mean, what are some of the learnings, if you could kind of jump back to the younger Dan self and go, actually, you kind of need to think about this? I mean, what lessons would you share?
Well, I think that I think lesson number one is you just got to move forward and try things. I think a lot of people, some AI is rebranded. It's like all of a sudden everything's AI. Something that was, but before AI was AI, you'd have a similar workflow, and now the company doing the similar workflow is like, oh, this is AI, and you're like, oh, okay, it's it's a nice. So there's like a
Howard stamp somewhere.
Yeah. There's like a rebranded application of what's already existed. So one is to just I think acknowledge that, and then the second part is the part where it's kind of like the head scratcher. It's like, okay, so this AI is actually going to sell an insurance policy. Let me hear it. And then you hear it and you say, okay, let me implement it. And then of course, maybe it doesn't work as you had thought it would, but then you continue to move forward to evolve it. Because again, it's in my experience, it's an evolution. It's something that continues to grow and build off of.
Good. And lastly then, what's your predicted biggest development in or application of AI within the insurance space? You can pick on insurers, brokers as an example, but what's your thoughts on what's to come?
I'd like to get to a point where I'd like to get to a point to where the AI is so seamless that it's non-distinguishable to the prospect or whoever's calling in, whether it's AI or not. And I think that there's a complement piece. So I think it's almost like a teamwork type piece, and AI with coordinated with a live person. And again, I think that as close as you can get, I think that there's always going to be a need and a want for that human interaction. I think that there's a segment of the marketplace that may be willing to take it start to finish. So if you had 100 occurrences, maybe you could get 25%, I think would be a great number to just flow seamlessly between the AIs selling policies and whatever. And then you've got, the rest, whatever the delta is, that at some point in the process, an agent is going to need to step in, pick up the ball for whatever reason, and continue to move it.
Right. So, I mean, any closing comments? Been a really good chat. So, but yeah, over to you.
Yeah, no really closing comments other than, I'm excited for the future. All of these things. Some people get scared of the evolution of technology, and I'm a firm believer that you're either growing or you're dying. So you don't want to do nothing. Otherwise, you're going to go the other way. And so I think it's good to be an early adopter. I think it's good to keep an open mind. I think it's good to try. Some people get caught up in, trying something once, doesn't work, they don't want to do it again. If it doesn't work, try it a different way. I think that's a good way to move forward. And I think as long as you're continuing to put one foot in front of the other, not give up, be an early adopter, and keep an open mind and move forward, ultimately you'll get there.
Good. I look forward to hearing when you pass the 100 million mark.
Yeah, absolutely. Might be sooner than we think. So
good. Well, yeah, Dan, genuinely, thank you for your time.
Yeah, awesome. I appreciate it, Danny.
Cheers.